Hej och välkommen tillbaka till kanalen. Idag är det vecka 6 i den här Torah portion läsningen. Och vi ska läsa första Mosebok eller Genesis 25:19 till 28:9. Och den här veckan heter Toldot på hebreiska, som betyder generations eller generationer. Och det kommer handla om Isak och Esau och Jakob. Ja, så vi hoppar in. Genesis 25:19. Now these are the records of the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham fathered Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean, to be his wife. Isaac prayed to Yahweh on behalf of his wife, because she was unable to have children, and Yahweh answered him, and his wife Rebekah conceived, but the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it is so, why am I in this condition? So she went to inquire of Yahweh, and Yahweh said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples will be separated from your body, and 1 people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Jag stannar lite bara. Istället för att utläsa Lord, vi har ju gått igenom det här. Det här är ju, man har ju tagit bort Herrens namn och ersatt det med en titel, Lord eller Herren. Och det här ordet för Lord egentligen är Baal eller Baal. Och det är ju inte hans namn, utan Baal det är ju en titel för en underordnad gud egentligen. Så jag kommer säkert säga lite olika. Ibland säger jag säkert Lord eller God, men jag ska försöka hålla mig och säga hans namn istället. Så vet ni det. When her days leading to the delivery were at end, behold, there were twins in her womb. Now the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they named him Esau. Afterward his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel, so he was named Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she gave birth to them. When the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a civilized man, living in tents. Now Isaac loved Esau because he had a taste for game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. When Jacob had cooked a stew one day, Esau came in from the field and he was exhausted, and Esau said to Jacob, Please let me have a mouthful of that red stuff there, for I am exhausted. Therefore he was called Edom by name. But Jacob said, First sell me your birthright. Esau said, Look, I am about to die, so of what use then is the birthright to me? And Jacob said, First swear to me. So he swore an oath to him, and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and he ate and drank, and got up and went on his way. So Esau despised his birthright. Mycket som händer här. Och som sagt, vi har gått in på det. Bibeln är ganska kort i sina förklaringar. Isak, Rebecka föder Esau och Jakob. Esau är en hårig man, står det. Rödhårig. Och Jakob är inte det. Esau är en hunter, en jägare. Och Jakob är mer civilized, står det här. Han är inte som Esau. Isak har en förkärlek lite till Esau. Men Rebecka gillar Jakob bättre där. Och sen bara så händer det här. Esau säljer sin förstfödslorätt. Bara så där. Kommer in från fältet och är jättehungrig och säljer bort sin rättighet som man har. Och det finns jättemycket som man kanske tänker att vad slug Jakob var liksom. Det här var ju han bedrog Esau på det här och det är lätt att få alltså man kan ju få alla möjliga vad ska man säga tankar om den här händelsen. Men vi har ju de här extra böckerna, Jasher Jubilees bland annat, som ger en bredare förklaring vad som händer. Så han säljer sin förstfödslorätt för bröd och linsstuvning. Bröd och linser, bibliskt. Det är någonting vi ska äta. Det kunde man sälja sin förstfödslorätt för. Men återigen då, Book of Jasher. Vi har varit och läst i den några gånger. Jag vill bara visa vad säger Bibeln om den här boken. Vi har i Josua 10:13 står det så här. So the sun stood still and the moon stopped till the nations avenge itself on its enemies, as it is written in the book of Jasher. Och så här refererar man, solen stod still, månen stannade. Josua ber om det här när han går in i landet, när de då ska förgöra sina fiender där, och det här händer. Och man refererar till som det står skrivet i Book of Jasher. Så Bibeln refererar till den här boken även i andra Samuelsboken 1:18. And he ordered the people of Judah be taught this lament of the bow. It is written in the book of Jasher. Så här har vi också en ytterligare referens till den här boken då, Book of Jasher. Och ja, man kan läsa det. Jag läste lite på Wikipedia här innan om var står det här i Jasher då kan man tänka. Och det står inte ordagrant exakt det här, utan det här är ju också vad ska man säga, ett citat. Så som Wikipedia beskriver det, så är det det står så här i Jasher, fast inte ordagrant, men summeringen är ju det här. Och så det står inte ordagrant i Jasher, men det, om man läser Jasher så kommer man till den uppfattningen. Hur som helst, Bibeln refererar till Book of Jasher. på svenska då, vad heter den där? Detta är nedtecknat i Den redliges bok, kallas den på svenska. Josua 10. Den redliges bok. Så vi har referenser till den från Bibeln. Men vad händer här då? Esau kommer exhausted från fältet och vill ha mat och säger att jag är en död man, jag kommer ändå dö. Så vad ska jag ha den här förstfödslorätten till? Om vi läser i Jasher då. Jag vill hoppa tillbaka lite först för att prata om Nimrod. Nimrod är ju han som bygger Babelstorn. Ja, vi kan läsa lite så. And the children of Ham. Ham var ju en av Noas söner. The children of Ham were Cush, Mitzraim, Put and Canaan. Canaan har vi ju läst om. Cush. Ur Cush här, eller från Cush då, så kommer Nimrod. Och Mitzraim är ett annat ord för Egypten. Så vi vet ju att han såg ju sin faders Noas nakenhet och Canaan skulle bli cursed. Canaan valde att förbanna sig själv genom att inte flytta ifrån. De intog land som de inte hade rättighet till och därav fick de en förbannelse över sig. Ur Kush kommer Nimrod och Nimrod bygger Babels torn och är också en mäktig krigare, kommer vi läsa om här. Och Mitzraim, Egypten, också ett ställe, ett folkslag som inte är för Guds folk då. Och så står det här att de här barnen då, de byggde städer och kallade städerna efter sina namn. Kush, Mitzraim, Put, Canaan. And the children of Mitzraim are Ludim, Anamin, Lehabim, ja, och så vidare, och så vidare. All these dwell by the river Shihor, that is the brook of Egypt. Så Mitzraim är ett annat ord för Egypten. And the children of Canaan also built themselves cities, and they called their cities after their names, 11 cities and other without number. And 4 men from the family of Ham went to the land of the plain. These are the names of the 4 men. Sodom, Gomorra, bland annat. Så Ham, Kanaan bygger Sodom och Gomorra. Och det läste vi om förra veckan. Också då återigen. De gör inte det. De gör det som är ont i Guds ögon. Jag ska se om det var något mer jag ville läsa där. Jag tror det var bra. Om vi hoppar vidare till kapitel 11. Här då. And Nimrod, son of Cush, was still in the land of Shinar. Shinar är ett annat namn för Babylon. And he reigned over it and dwelt there. And he built cities in the land of Shinar, Babylon. And these are the names of the 4 cities which he built. And he called their names after the occurrence that happened to them in the building of the tower. And he called the first Babel, saying, because the Lord there confused the language of the whole earth. And the name of the second he called Erech, because from there God despised them. ja, jag tror inte vi läser mer. Jag vill bara visa att Nimrod kommer från Kush. Han kommer från Ham. Vi ska se. Jag skummar igenom här bara så det inte är något jag missar. Om vi hoppar till Jasher kapitel 7, 23. Vi har inte läst allting i Jasher. Det är väl inte saker man har missat, men det är saker som är intressanta, så läs den. Ta det till Herren. Är det en bok jag ska läsa? Testa den. Pröva allting. Pröva mig, säger Herren. Och pröva det här och håll fast vid det som är gott. Jag tror Paulus säger något i den stilen också. Men Jasher 7:23. And Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, took a wife in those days in his old age, and she bare a son, and they called his name Nimrod, saying, at the time the sons of man again began to rebel and transgress against God. And the child grew up, and his father loved him exceedingly, for he was the son of his old age. Och återigen, man kan ju bara fundera, de rebell och gjorde uppror och gjorde övertramp mot Gud. Men de måste ju ha vetat vad ett övertramp är. De måste ju ha haft instruktioner och lagar, regler och så vidare. För annars så, om de inte har det, då kan man ju inte säga att om de inte vet om regelverket så kan de inte bryta mot någonting. Så de måste ju ha vetat om det. Jag vill bara liksom belysa det här att nej, det är inte det Mose får lagen på Sinai berg. Det är inte så att allting är helt okänt och nytt och det var bara då för en tid och en stund. Ja. Om vi hoppar vidare. Här då. And the garments of skin which God made for Adam and his wife when they went out of the garden were given to Cush. Så här står det att Gud gjorde garments of skin, vad ska man säga, skinnkläder kanske blir fel, men kläder av skinn till Adam och hans fru när de gick ut ur Edens lustgård. Och de här kläderna gavs till Cush. For after the death of Adam and his wife, the garments were given to Enoch, the son of Jared, and when Enoch was taken up to God, he gave them to Methuselah, his son. And at the death of Methuselah, Noah took them and brought them to the ark, and they were with him until he went out of the ark. And in their going out, Ham stole those garments from Noah, his father, and he took them and hid them from his brothers. Så Ham stjäl de här kläderna från Noah vid något tillfälle. And when Ham begat his firstborn, Cush, he gave him the garments in secret, and they were with Cush many days. And Cush also concealed them from his sons and brothers. And when Cush had begotten Nimrod, he gave him those garments, through his love for him. And Nimrod grew up, and when he was 20 years old, he put on those garments. And Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments, and Elohim, God, Elohim på hebreiska, gave him might and strength, and he was a mighty hunter in the earth. He was a mighty hunter in the field, and he hunted the animals, and he built altars, and he offered upon them the animals before Yahweh. Så Nimrod offrar till Herren också. And Nimrod strengthened himself, and he rose up from amongst his brethren, and he fought the battle of his brethren against all their enemies round about. And the Lord Yahweh delivered all the enemies of his brethren in his hand, and Elohim prospered him from time to time in his battles, and he reigned upon the earth. Ja, så Nimrod får de här kläderna som Gud skapade till Adam och Eva, som har, vad säger man, ärvts i generationer. Och vi har också, om det är Jubilees eller Jasher, där det står att Noa får instruktioner från Gud också, som också ärvs ner till hans söner. Vi har ju gått igenom det här också. Abraham går ju till Sem och Noa för att lära sig Guds vägar. Och så vidare och så vidare. Men i alla fall, Nimrod har vi läst om. Han var en mighty hunter, men han offrade till Herren, men han började göra fel. Vi kan hoppa hit först kanske. Ja, just det. Förlåt. Vi hoppar hit. Kapitel 27 i Jasher. Här då står det om Esau. Vad hände när han kom hem? Exhausted. And Esau at the time, after the death of Abram, frequently went in the field to hunt. And Nimrod, king of Babel, the same was Amraphel. Han kallades för Amraphel också, Nimrod. Nimrod har flera olika namn. Han också, jag tror han har Gilgamesh i olika vad ska man säga, kulturer och språk. Nimrod also frequently went with his mighty men to hunt in the field and to walk about with his men in the cool of the day. Så vi har Esau, en mäktig krigare eller jägare, och även Nimrod. And Nimrod was observing Esau all the days, for a jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod against Esau all the days. And on a certain day Esau went in the field to hunt, and he found Nimrod walking in the wilderness with his 2 men. And all his mighty men and his people were with him in the wilderness, but they removed at a distance from him, and they went from him in different directions to hunt. And Esau concealed himself for Nimrod, and he lurked for him in the wilderness. And Nimrod and his men that were with him did not know him, and Nimrod and his men frequently walked about in the field at the cool of the day, and to know where his men were hunting in the field. And Nimrod and 2 of his men that were with him came to the place where they were. When Esau when Esau started suddenly from his lurking place and drew his sword and hastened and ran to Nimrod and cut off his head. And Esau fought a desperate fight with the 2 men that were with Nimrod, and when they called out to him, Esau turned to them and smote them to death with his sword. And all the mighty men of Nimrod, who had left him to go to the wilderness, heard the cry at a distance, and they knew the voice of those 2 men, and they ran to know the cause of it. When they found their king and the 2 men that were with him laying dead in the wilderness. And when Esau saw the mighty men of Nimrod coming at a distance, he fled, and thereby escaped. And Esau took the valuable garment of Nimrod, which Nimrod's father had bequeathed to Nimrod, and with which Nimrod prevailed over the whole land, and he ran and concealed them in his house. Så Esau dödar Nimrod och tar de här kläderna som han hade på sig. And Esau took those garments and ran into the city on account of Nimrod's men, and he came unto his father's house, wearied and exhausted from fight. And he was ready to die through grief when he approached his brother Jacob and sat before him. And he said unto his brother Jacob, Behold, I shall die this day, and wherefore then do I want the birthright? And Jacob acted wisely with Esau in this matter, and Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, for it was so brought about by Yahweh. And Esau's portion in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abram had brought from the children of Heth for the possession of a burial ground, Esau also sold to Jacob. And Jacob bought all this from his brother Esau for value given. And Jacob wrote the whole of this in a book, and he testified the same with witness, and he sealed it, and the book remained in the hands of Jacob. And when Nimrod, the son of Cush, died, his men lifted him up and brought him in consternation, and buried him in the city, and all the days of Nimrod lived were 215 years, and he died. And the days of Nimrod reigned upon the people of the land were 185 years. And Nimrod died by the sword of Esau in shame and contempt. And the seed of Abram caused his death, as he had seen in a dream. And at the death of Nimrod, his kingdom became divided into many divisions, and all those parts that Nimrod reigned over were restored to the respective kings of the land, who recovered them after the death of Nimrod. And all the people of the house of Nimrod were for a long time enslaved to all the other kings of the land. Så lite mer information i Jasher vad som händer. Och då kan man förstå också varför Esau kommer och är helt upprörd egentligen, och vad är det som har hänt? Någonting måste ju ha hänt liksom. Också intressant att det blev så här: The seed of Abram caused his death, Nimrods death, as he had seen in a dream. Så Nimrod har sett en dröm om att han kommer bli slagen egentligen. Och det var det som jag skulle leta efter här förut. Ja, vi hoppar dit till den här drömmen. behold, King Nimrod sat in Babel upon the throne, and the king fell asleep and dreamed that he was standing with his troops and hosts in a valley opposite the king's furnace. And he lifted up his eyes and saw a man in the likeness of Abram coming forth from the furnace, and that he came and stood before the king with his drawn sword, and he sprang to the king with his sword when the king fled from the man, for he was afraid. And while he was running, the man threw an egg upon the king's head, and the egg became a great river, and the king dreamed that all his troops sank in that river and died, and the king took flight with the 3 men who were before him, and he escaped. And the king looked at these men, and they were clothed in princely dresses as the garments of kings, and had the appearance of majesty of kings. And while they were running, the river again turned to an egg before the king, and there came forth the egg a young bird, which came before the king, and flew at his head, and plucked out the king's eyes. And the king was grievous at the sight, and he awoke out of his sleep, and his spirit was agitated, and he felt a great terror. Så här har han den här drömmen då. Och det som händer innan här, vi har inte läst allting, men det händer ganska mycket med Abraham här innan. Han står inför Nimrod, Abraham då, och blir kastad i en eld. Abraham slår sönder sin fars Teras statyer, gudar. Tera går med det här ärendet till Nimrod som är kung då. Kolla vad min son har gjort liksom. Och det ena leder till det andra, och Abraham ställs inför kungen då, Nimrod står det. Kastas i en eld men överlever. Så det var lite det som stod innan här i de här verserna. Och sen får Nimrod den här drömmen då att Abrahams sid kommer att störta hans rike. Så lite mer kött på benen när det gäller den här händelsen då. Jakob får nu då Esaus förstfödslorätt där. Kapitel 26. Now there was a famine in the land, besides the previous famine that had occurred in the days of Abraham. So Isaac went to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, and Yahweh appeared to him and said, Do not go down to Mitzrayim, Egypt. Stay in the land of which I shall tell you. Live for a time in the land, and I will be with you and bless you, for to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, and I will establish the oath which I swore to your father Abraham. I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven, and I will give your descendants all these lands, and by your descendants all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed me and fulfilled his duty to me, and kept my commandments, my statutes and my laws. Så återigen löftet här. Arvingarna till det här löftet ska vara som himlens stjärnor. And by your descendants all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Så det innefattar den här välsignelsen innefattar alla nationer. Alltså det är inte bara ett folkslag som har en viss identitet eller en viss hudfärg eller utan de här finns i alla, hans folk finns i alla nationer. Och allt det här för att Abraham fullgjorde sin tjänst, höll mina kommandon och mina lagar och mina statutes. So Isaac lived in Gerar. When the man of the place asked about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," for he was afraid to say my wife, thinking the men of this place might kill me on account of Rebecca, since she is beautiful. Så den här historien är precis likadan som Abraham. Han säger att hans fru är hans syster för att undvika att bli dödad då. Now it came about, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked down through a window and saw them, and behold, Isaac was caressing his wife Rebekah. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, she certainly is your wife. So how is it that you have said, she is my sister?" And Isaac said to him, "Because I thought otherwise I might be killed on account of her." And Abimelech said, "What is it that you have done to us? One of the people might easily have slept with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech commanded all the people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife will certainly be put to death." Now Isaac sowed in the land and reaped in the same year 100 times as much. And Yahweh blessed him. And the men became rich and continued to grow richer until they became very wealthy. For he had possession of flocks and herds and a great household, so that the Philistines envied him. Now all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up by filling them with dirt. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are too powerful for us." So Isaac departed from there and camped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Och jag blir lite fundersam när man läser så här. Abrahams tjänare, Abrahams folk, de grävde källor här som de här Philistines hade grävt igen, stoppat igen med lera liksom, jord. Varför vill man göra så? Det står inget om just den här händelsen mer i Jasher eller Jubilees direkt. Inte vad jag kommer ihåg i alla fall. Hur som helst, de hade grävt igen de här källorna. Then Isaac dug again the wells of water which had been dug in the days of his father Abraham. For the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham, and he gave them the same names which his father had given them. But when Isaac's servant dug in the valley, they found there a well of flowing water. The herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with the herdsmen of Isaac, saying, "The water is ours." So he named the well Esek, because they argued with him. Then they dug another well, and they quarreled over it too, so he named it Sitna. Then he moved away from there and dug another well, and they did quarrel over it, so he named it Rehoboth. For he said, At last Yahweh has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land." And he went back from there to Beersheba, and Yahweh appeared to him the same night and said, I am the Elohim of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for my sake of my servant Abraham. For the sake of my servant Abraham. So he built an altar there and called upon the name of Yahweh and pitched his tent, and there Isaac's servants dug a well. Then Abimelech came to him from Gerar with his advisor Ahuzat and Pikol, the commander of his army. Isaac said to them, Why have you come to me, since you hate me and have sent me away from you? They said, We have seen plainly that Yahweh has been with you. So we said, An oath must be taken by us, that is, by you and us. Let us make a covenant with you, that you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you, and have done nothing to you but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of Yahweh. Then he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. In the morning they got up early and exchanged oaths. And Isaac sent them away, and they left him in peace. Now it came about on the same day that Isaac's servants came in and told him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, We have found water. So he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they brought grief to Isaac and Rebecca. Ja, ett litet avbrott i historien. Där kom Esau in. Jag tror jag hade någonting. Ja, det kommer senare här. Vi ska se. Kapitel 27. Now it came about, when Isaac was old, and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called his older son Esau, and said to him, My son. And he said to him, Here I am. Then Isaac said, Behold, now I am old, and I do not know the days of my death. Now then, please take your gear and quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and prepare a delicious meal for me, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die. Now Rebekah was listening while Isaac spoke to his son Esau. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for game to bring home, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, Behold, I heard your father speak to your brother Esau, saying, Bring me some game and prepare a malicious meal for me, so that I may eat and bless you in the presence of Yahweh before my death. So now, my son, listen to me, as I command you. Go now to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats from there, so that I may prepare them as a delicious meal for your father, such as he loves. Then you shall bring it to your father, and he may eat, so that he may bless you before his death. But Jacob said to his mother Rebekah, Behold, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will touch me, and I will be like a deceiver in his sight, and I will bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing. But his mother said to him, Your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go get the goats for me. So he went and got them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a delicious meal, such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on her younger son Jacob. And she put the skins of the younger goat in the hands and on the smooth part of his neck. She also gave the delicious meal and the bread which she had made to her son Jacob. Then he came to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am." "Who are you, my son?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Come now and sit and eat of my game, so that you may bless me." Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have it so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because Yahweh your Elohim made it come to me." Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come close, so that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob came close to his father Isaac, and he touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother's Esau's hand. So he blessed him. And he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" And he said, "I am." So he said, "Bring it to me, and I will eat of my son's game, that I may bless you." And he brought it to him, and he ate, and also brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, "Please come close and kiss me, my son." So he came close and kissed him, and when he smelled the smell of his garment, he blessed him and said, "See, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field which Yahweh has blessed. Now may Elohim give you the dew of heaven, and of the fatness of the earth, and the abundance of grain and new wine. May people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master of your brothers, and may your mother's son bow down to you. Cursed be those who curse you, and blessed be those who bless you." Now it came about, as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly gone out from the presence of his father Isaac, his brother Esau came in from his hunting. Then he also made a delicious meal and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me." His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who then was he who hunted game and brought it to me, so that I ate from all of it before you came, and blessed him? Yes, and he shall be blessed." When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me as well, my father." And he said, Your brother came deceitfully, and has taken away your blessing." Then Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has betrayed me with these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing." And he said, "Have you not reserved the blessing for me?" But Isaac replied to Esau, "Behold, I have made him your master, and I have given to him all his relatives as servants, and with grain and new wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me as well, my father." So Esau raised his voice and wept. Then his father Isaac answered and said to him, Behold, away from the fertility of the earth shall be your dwelling, and away from the dew of heaven from above. And by sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But it shall come about when you become restless, that you will break his yoke from your neck. So Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. Now when the words of her elder son Esau were reported to Rebekah, she sent word and called her younger son Jacob, and said to him, Behold, your brother Esau is consoling himself concerning you by planning to kill you. Now then, my son, obey my voice, and arise, flee to Haran, to my brother Laban. Stay with him a few days, until your brother's fury subsides, until your brother's anger against you subsides, and he forgets what you did to him. Then I will send word and get you from there. Why should I lose you both in one day? And Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm tired of living because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughter of Heth, like these from the daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me? Ja, jag har inte så mycket att stanna upp på här. Esaus välsignelse, Jakob får den. Han, lurar han till sig den. Han lyder sin mor, gör han. Men Esau säger att han har blivit bedragen 2 gånger. Men samtidigt så stod det ju också att Esau, han despised sin birthright. Han var egentligen slarvig med det han hade fått. Han såg det inte som någonting viktigt egentligen. Jakob, han tog ju den, men han stal den ju inte i. Det finns olika typer av stöld egentligen, kan man ju säga. Kapitel 28. So Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and commanded him, saying to him, You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and from there take to yourself a wife from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May Elohim Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, so that you may become a multitude of peoples. May he also give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your descendants with you, so that you may possess the land where you live as a stranger, which Elohim gave to Abraham. Then Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. Now Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padan Aram to take to himself a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he commanded him, saying, You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother, and had gone to Padan Aram. So Esau saw that the daughter of Canaan displeased his father Isaac. And Esau went to Ishmael, and married, besides the wife that he had, Mahalat, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaiot. Ja, det var det här som jag tänkte visa förut också. Esau insåg att Kanans döttrar var displeased för hans fader Isak då. Isak gillar inte att ta ingen fru från Kanan. Så Esau också går till Ishmael istället. Ishmaels folk. Och gifter sig med en, förutom de fruarna han redan hade. Och i Jasher 22. Det här är något tidigare skede då. And Esau there saw the land of Seir, the daughter of men of Canaan, and her name was Yehudit, the daughter of Beri, son of Epher, from the families of Heth, the son of Canaan. And Esau took her for a wife. Så Esau har tagit en kananeisk kvinna till fru då, tidigare. Och här står det ju att här fick han ju se att Isak gillar inte det. Och gav det som råd till Jakob. Ta inte en kananeisk fru. För de ska ju inte ha... Och vi förstår ju varför ska de inte ha någonting med Kanans folk att göra egentligen. Bibeln förklarar inte så tydligt varför de ska avhålla sig från det folket. Men ja, Book of Jasher går igenom vad är det de gör, vad har de gjort för fel då. Ha ingenting med dem att göra. Så Esau hörde rådet också. Nu hade han redan tagit en fru där. Men han lyssnar också. Ja, det var vecka 6, Torah portion. Lite kortare än de tidigare. Och man har inte så mycket extra att gå in på. Men det finns ju lite extra i Book of Jasher. Läs gärna den. Ta det till Herren. Om ni är osäkra på om man får läsa några extra böcker. Som sagt, den här boken Jasher refereras ju till i ordet. Så ja, jag hoppas det har varit till någon välsignelse. Och att ni kanske har sett någonting nytt. Ja. Vi ses nästa vecka. Tack.